Palouse River Valley, and I'm getting this flat ready to plant some alfalfa. Now, this flat is it's very fertile. It's a great place to grow wheat, except that this has its own microclimate. And while up on the hills and even on the flat on the other side of the river, you don't seem to get the same cold snaps. But a lot of the time, after your wheat heads out and it starts to bloom, this flat will catch a frost. And so a lot of times you'll be down here in harvest time and you're expecting a bin buster of a crop, and you're mowing through all kinds of straw and residue, but there just isn't any grain getting in the tank. Plus there's a lot of weed problems down here. So I thought a few years of alfalfa might clear some of that up. Now, in an ideal situation, since this flat was fairly smooth, I would have no-tilled this alfalfa. But I just didn't have the equipment available to make that work. So I'm out here disking this. This is my second pass over. And I started this a week ago, and then it rained. And this is on a Monday, which was as soon as I could get back here, and it's really too wet to be here now. But I knew there was a big rain coming on Wednesday. So I thought, well, we'll get it disked on Monday. We'll pack it and seed it on Tuesday. Well, that didn't quite work out, because by the time I got down there with the packer Monday night, it was already raining. And it did not dry out on Tuesday. And by the time it got done raining on Wednesday, we'd had more than 2 inches of rain, which is absolutely beautiful. Here on the Palouse, to get this much rain in May is a real gift. And it left us with some nice, warm, wet soil to seed into. So I'm fairly optimistic that this alfalfa is going to do all right. Now, I borrowed a packer from my neighbor, and I got her hooked up and headed towards the field on Monday afternoon, and it was spitting rain on me. Now, this field is at the bottom end of a dirt road, and it doesn't take a whole lot of rain to get that wet enough so you can't get back out with the pickup. And I was getting pretty nervous, but as it turns out, it worked out okay, and I did make it back out without getting stuck. Well, I finished disking on Monday. This is Sunday, a week later, and it's still really wet. I didn't really need to pack this anymore, but I still needed to smooth it out some, and I wanted to break the crust. If my big harrow had been handy, that would have been a better tool, but it was 20 miles away and I was already hooked up to this. So I ran over it a couple of directions, and it seemed to work the top just enough, fracturing that crust so I could get the drill in the ground. After I made that first round, I got out, kicked around behind, and I was like, oh boy, I don't know if this is going to work. But by the time I crossed it, it had given me about ½ an inch of dust on top, which is just about right, because that way the drill basically laid the seed in on top of mud, and the dust kind of came in and covered it up a little bit. And I think it should do okay. By day 5, there was a little bit of it sticking out of the ground, and with the rain we had this weekend, I think the rest of it should make it up. Okay guys, we're getting ready to plant some alfalfa, and the first thing I got to do here is calibrate this drill so I know how many pounds per acre I'm putting on. So in order to do that, I hang a sack down here, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to spin that wheel that I've jacked up here until it's traveled 200 feet. And in that 200 feet, I want to catch about 36 grams of total weight. So I come over here, sit down on my 5-gallon bucket, find me a spot to look at, and then just start rolling it forwards. Okay, we come back here, turn on the scales. Hopefully this will all show up on this camera. Grab my little sack. Make sure I got all the seed out of the tube. Okay, and we're going to drop this on here. Okay, so we got 45 grams, 50 grams, 49 or 50. Say 49 grams. And we're looking for 36, and that bag weighs 22. So we're not quite putting on enough. Sure we got that empty. Yep, see, 22 grams. Okay, so we're gonna go over there and we're gonna open the drill up a little bit more. Get my little tappy tool here. I usually open it just a little farther than I want and then back it off just a little bit. All right, let's try that again. Okay, 56. So we're just a little bit short. And we're gonna leave it that way because I found if you set these things 10% light, at least with this drill, it usually comes out just about perfect. All right, I got to go put some seed hoses on in a couple of places, and then we'll put some seed in here and we're ready to go. All right, guys, this is what she looks like. The colored stuff in there is alfalfa with a little seed coating on it, some inoculant, and some stuff for disease control. It also helps it absorb moisture. The lighter colored stuff is just corn grit. Just ground up corn just to make filler material because these old drills won't shut down far enough to seed this properly otherwise. I mounted my GoPro on the back of the seed box and it makes a really nice shot of those flutes metering the seed down the tubes. And what was really great about it is not only does it make some pretty decent video, I was able to watch that on my cell phone up in the tractor cab. Really handy when you're there by yourself. Just to give you a little idea where the seed's ending up, I've got about all the pressure that I could muster pushing those discs down in the ground. And in that wet, firm ground, there's no place it's going over 3/4 of an inch, and most of the time that seed is ending up somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 an inch deep, just enough so that the dust kind of settles back in over the top of it. And at the end of 5 days I was back down there on this flat, and the stuff that was covered up the deepest was already coming up, and the rest of it should be up shortly. Some of it was starting to sprout already, and we've had probably 1/2 an inch of rain this weekend, so another week and I'm expecting to have a pretty decent stand going. Well, overall the month of May has worked out pretty well for us. We've been really dry for quite a while now. Last year we were about 2 to 3 inches short of our normal rainfall, and this spring has not been really good. It's been pretty dry. But in May, I think we're going to finish up close to the 3-inch mark, which is about 3 times what we normally get in the month of May. So that's a real gift. Our wheat's heading out, and it's going to need that moisture to help everything fill. The pasture has desperately needed one last push to take it to finish before the dry season hits. So overall, I'd say the good Lord has blessed us really well this spring. Hopefully this alfalfa will grow and do well, and I'll kind of keep you updated in the future. That's all I got for today. God bless everybody. I'll catch you on the next one.